I'm gonna mostly focus on these 3 add-on shades that are great to elevate your routine. You did get a pre-built collection number 8. You're gonna notice that you're not gonna get a setting powder or 2 eyeshadows. Instead, you're going to get another lip and cheek shade and a 3rd highlight shade that is a little bit darker. That is gonna help you to add more coverage to your makeup. Also help you to transition from winter to summer, spring, and fall. Show you how to use these add-ons that I usually would pick if you got a custom color match. If you have the 3D brush, you can definitely apply your bronzer with the 3D brush. I recommend shopping the collection and getting the blush and bronzer brush with the bronzer. Now, as you can see, my blush and bronzer brush is dirty, so another great add-on is the Seint Instant Brush Cleaner. Spray your brush in the areas where it's dirty. Use a napkin to gently rub off the makeup. What I love about this instant brush cleaner is that it will dry instantly, and it does have alcohol that helps to sanitize your brushes and keep your skin nice and clean. I do recommend spot cleaning every time you use your brushes for the most flawless application, but I get it, we don't always have time for that. So at least if you're doing it every 2 to 3 days, if you wear your makeup every single day, that will be great. Look at how nice and clean our brush is. If you miss any spots, you can always go back in and spray them. And I always like to test out my brush on the back of my hand just to make sure that it is nice and dry and that there is no brush cleaner still left on. Now that our brush is nice and clean and ready to go, we're going to take the fluffier side of the 2 to apply our bronzer. This more dense side is great for blending out all of your 3D foundation, which are these 3 shades right here. And it's also great for applying blush with the fluffy side of the brush. And since it is a very large brush, I like to pinch my brush just a little bit to make sure that I'm just getting in the tin and not touching any other colors. And this bronzer is highly pigmented, so definitely a little bit goes a long way. A super natural bronzer shade depending on your skin tone, unless if you specify that you want to look darker, I will most likely recommend something that will complement you. Place my bronzer at the top of my cheekbone, center of my face right here, middle of the forehead, a little bit on the center of my nose for a sun-kissed finish, around my chin. If my jawline is not blending in with my neck, that happens a lot in the summer, I'll just place a little bit right here to blend it all in. If your chest is looking quite light, you can also place some of that down your neck and it will help to add some color. Look at how instantly our face looks a lot more lifted on this side versus this side right here. Bronzer helps to add color to our skin that we lose as we start getting older, and also gives us a more youthful finish. I like to use it as eyeshadow and as a lip liner. And if you feel really bold and courageous, definitely feel free to build up that bronzer shade. If you find this brush is too big, a great alternative is the shape brush. For blush, we're going to take the denser side and pick up a little bit of our blush. Usually, if I have this whole entire routine right here, I would do my 3D foundation, which is the contour and 2 highlight shades, bronzer, and then do blush on top. And always remember, wherever you place the blush on first is where you're gonna have the most color payoff. So if I place it towards the front of my cheek, it's going to give me the most color there. If I place it towards the back of my cheek, it's going to give me the most color here. The difference is this is gonna give us a more lifted effect versus this, it's gonna give us a more fuller effect. Then I like to use the fluffy side of the blush and bronzer brush just to make sure that the blush and the bronzer blend in nicely by stamping those 2 together. And look at how instantly our makeup has been elevated by just adding bronzer into this 4-step routine. One of my favorite products is our cream illuminators. This is gonna give us what's called an intentional glow. If you're someone who's like me, who's a little bit more on the oilier side, but you like to have a little tiny bit of that glow to the skin, or you just want a more youthful finish, take your finger and your cream illuminator, place this on the top of the cheekbone in a C shape all the way into the eyebrow. Then I just stamp back and forth until I get that nice and blended. If for any reason you notice a harsh line in between your illuminator and your blush, just take your blush and bronzer brush and stamp that right on top, and that will blend in the illuminator into your blush. I like taking cream illuminator to enhance my nose contour by placing it on the tip of my nose and down the center of my bridge. Put a little bit in the inner corner of my eyes to just brighten them and make them look more awake. Also place it on the top of the brow bone for an instant eye lift. Use it as a natural eyeshadow all over the lid. And if you pair this with the bronzer and the crease, it gives you the most gorgeous finish and super easy eyeshadow. On my Cupid's bow to make my lip look a little poutier. If I'm ever wearing a lip color that I just want to make my lips look a little bolder, I'll place some down the center of my lip to give me a natural gloss finish without the stick. And look at how those two products have taken our makeup to the next level. Now, if you're someone who ends up getting the 2 eyeshadow shades that I'll recommend for your medium kit, we're gonna use our main highlight shade to go ahead and prep our eyes. This will even out the skin tone on the eyelid and make your eyeshadow last all day long. To the setting powder and this brush here, this is called the Bright Brush, which I most likely recommended for you. Stamp that setting powder all over your eyelid to make it nice and matte. I'm going to show you a super easy 2-step eyeshadow tutorial. So we're going to take this medium mid-tone shade and the tip of the Bright Brush. This is our crease shade. This color here is called Butterscotch. It's one of my favorites. Then we're going to place this on the center of our eye like this and do this windshield wiper motion to create a more rounded eye. You're gonna want to start right there at the center of the eye, bring this up a little higher in the crease, do a straight line like this. It's going to go into your brow bone, but it's going to create a lot more lift and make your eye look more open than doing that rounded shape. I'm gonna take the side of my Bright Brush and a little bit of that Butterscotch shade again and place this on the outer corner of the eye. Then do soft circular motions to blend that in. And you can see how nice and defined our eye looks. Always make sure that you don't go past your eyeball where your bone on your eye socket is. That will make sure that you get the most seamless makeup look. Shimmers, I like to always use my finger. This shade here is called Hot Chocolate, another one of my favorites. Stamp this all over our lid with our finger for the most color payoff. See how much dimension we have to our eyes with just 2 shades. Pro tip is to take that crease shade and the pointy side of the Bright Brush and run that across your lower lash line to lightly define the eyes and make your makeup blend in. Finish off your makeup with your mascara and your brow product of choice and you are set to go. Now, if you're ready to add on to this routine right here, or maybe you got a replace everything in my makeup bag routine, check out this next video.